So, for example, the background,
Yeah.
I just got a palette knife with some paint, just to give it some texture.
So you don't use
You can see it's
brushes
rough,
then?
can't you? No, rarely.
Rarely use a brush?
Okay, I'll show you what I use.
Go on then. Tools of the trade.
Okay, what I use, I've got all these here, they're
Yeah.
for show. Okay, so brush-wise, I use, not that one, this one, rough,
Yeah.
yeah. I use this palette knife, yeah,
Yeah.
and I use tissue.
Okay.
That's pretty much
How do
it.
you do that? How do you work that then?
So that's pretty much it.
So for me, so you're saying that you use the palette knife for the back. So which part do you use for the brush then?
Okay, so first off, I'll get my paint on the canvas, palette knife, I'll squeeze some stuff on there, and then just smear it across. And it's going to be rough. You can see the lines that have been created.
Oh yeah.
Do you see? That's
Yeah.
where that's all come from. Rough. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll all be white, and it'll be quite rough.
So you got white paint on a white canvas. Is the canvas actually white? Is it, or is it not white enough?
Well, there's actually a painting. It is white.
Yeah.
There's actually a painting underneath that, but that's another story.
Okay.
It's a painting that I just like through paint at the canvas, apparently, according to a plumber. so I just smeared it all over with white paint because it's quite cheap. I've got quite a lot of it. Then I get a hairdryer and I dry it.
Oh really?
Yeah. To speed up the process.
Yeah.
And then I'll get something like, so I could get a bit of paint like, and I'll squeeze a bit of paint on there. In this case it's magenta, but in this case it was turquoise. No. And it'd just be rough.
So you'd brush a colour in?
Just brush it.
Yeah.
And because it's textured behind, you get all the little textures. And it's not even. It's thicker in some places than others. So, and before and as it's starting to dry, what I then do is I get some water, do that,
Yeah.
give it a chance to settle, then just do that.
Oh.
And what that does, do you see it's like mould effect?
Yeah.
It gives it like a sense of parchment. It makes it look like parchment, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Do you see?
Yeah. I'll tell you what I really noticed. When you put that water on there, it really
Yep.
pulls the colours out.
That's what varnish does.
So, okay, so we have spoken about varnish in the past. It really does pull that colour out, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
It really does. So, your plan is to varnish.
Yep.
And we had a conversation before about gloss versus satin versus matte. Now, what's your conclusion?
Okay, so I quite like it to be quite matte, so I've got several lots of varnish. Some artists, they mix varnishes, they mix satin with gloss or satin with matte. I'm going to use matte. So I've used gloss, I've used satin, and they come up a bit too shiny.
Yeah.
So I think this would probably be matte, and it would bring the colour out.
Yeah.
What it does, it fills all the little gaps.
Right.
So it gives the impression that when you polish something,
Yeah.
what it does, it takes all the little bumps out.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what this varnish does. It takes all the little bumps out, and it gives the impression that it's... Yeah, so it really brings the colour out, doesn't it?
It does bring the colour out.
Yeah.
There's some great colours in this.
Yeah, yeah.